let's get back to the courtroom drama.
Okay.
So Shylock demands his pound of flesh.
Uh-huh.
Portia delivers her epic speech about mercy.
Uh-huh.
But what happens next? Does Antonio actually have to give up a part of his body? Hey everyone, and welcome to ShakesPod. To hear or not to hear. We're diving into Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice today.
That's right.
We're not just going to recap the plot or anything like that.
No.
We're going to try to uncover the cool secrets of the play.
Absolutely.
Drama, the romance, all the stuff that makes it interesting.
And those famous quotes you've probably heard before.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, The Merchant of Venice is really a roller coaster.
It is.
It's like a roller coaster ride of emotions.
Yeah.
And it even makes us think about some pretty tough questions.
Yeah.
About fairness and prejudice that are still relevant today.
Yeah.
So by the end of this deep dive,
Yeah.
you'll understand why Shakespeare is considered such a genius.
Totally.
And why his work still matters.
Yeah.
Even centuries later.
So let's set the scene.
Okay.
Imagine Venice and Belmont, where the play takes place.
Yeah.
It's like buzzing with activity.
Lots going on.
Merchant ships.
Uh-huh.
All sorts of interesting characters. But who are the main players in this story?
Well, you've got Antonio, the super generous merchant.
Okay.
He's like the friend who always has your back.
Yeah.
No matter what.
I like that.
And then there's his best friend, Bassanio,
Okay.
who is head over heels for Portia. Just really smart and wealthy heiress.
Right.
And, of course, we can't forget about Shylock,
Okay.
the Jewish moneylender, who really is at the center of the play's conflict.
Hold on.
Yeah.
A moneylender. What's that all about?
Yeah, so think of him like a banker today.
Okay.
But with a bit of a twist, because back in Shakespeare's time, lending money with interest was called usury.
Okay.
And it was a big no-no for Christians.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so imagine if your friend charged you extra money just for lending you cash.
Yeah.
People weren't too happy about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be thrilled about that either.
Right.
But that doesn't explain why Shylock demands a pound of Antonio's flesh.
Yeah.
If he can't repay the loan. I mean, that's
Right, that's intense.
a shocking demand.
Yeah.
And it really sets the stage for all the drama
Yeah.
that unfolds in the play.
Yeah.
And part of it has to do with the prejudice
Okay.
that Shylock faces as a Jewish man living in Venetian society. So it reminds us that we need to think about the historical context to really understand the character's motivations.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got friendship, we've got love, and a super risky loan.
Uh-huh.
Things are about to get interesting.
Definitely.
But tell me more about Bassanio trying to win Portia's heart.
Okay.
It has to choose between these 3 caskets.
Yes.
Gold, silver, and lead.
Yes.
To find out if he's worthy of her right.
Exactly. It's like a high-stakes game show.
Yeah.
And Shakespeare uses this casket game to explore the idea that looks can be deceiving.
Yeah.
Right? You've got the Prince of Morocco,
Okay.
who goes straight for that flashy gold casket.
Because he thinks it represents Portia's beauty.
Ah, I see.
Wrong choice.
Ouch.
Then there's the arrogant Prince of Aragon,
Okay.
who's so sure of himself that he picks the silver casket,
Okay.
but he gets a reality check when he opens it
Yeah.
and finds a picture of a fool.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
So why does Bassanio choose the plain, boring lid casket?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Bassanio's different.
Oh.
He's not fooled by appearances.
Right.
He chooses the lead casket because he understands that true love isn't about superficial things.
Okay.
It's about taking a risk and being willing to give your all.
You know, that makes me think about
What's that?
the choices that we make every day.
Yeah.
Do we go for the things that seem cool and popular?
Right.
Or do we look deeper and choose what truly matters?
Yeah.
It's like Shakespeare is giving us a life lesson
Totally.
through this casket game.
He is encouraging us to think carefully about our choices.
Yeah.
And to look beyond the surface. But let's shift gears for a moment.
Okay.
And talk about the play's most controversial character,
Okay.
Shylock.
Right.
Remember that shocking demand for a pound of flesh?
Yeah.
Well, things come to a head in the courtroom scene
Okay.
where Antonio is facing the consequences
Right.
of not being able to repay the loan.
Right. And that's where Portia, disguised as a male lawyer, steps in
Yes.
with her famous quality of mercy speech.
Yeah.
It's like she's trying to appeal to Shylock's better nature
Yeah.
and remind him that forgiveness is more powerful than revenge.
This scene is one of the most powerful moments in the whole play.
Yeah.
Portia argues that mercy just makes everyone better, both the person who gives it and the person who receives it.
Right.
She's basically saying, hey, let's rise above this desire for revenge and show some compassion.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But is Shylock really the bad guy here? I mean, his daughter runs off with a Christian.
Yeah.
Steals from him.
Right.
And he's been treated terribly by Antonio and others just because he's Jewish.
That's the heart of the debate around Shylock's character. To really understand him, we need to remember that anti-Semitism was widespread during Shakespeare's time.
Yeah.
Imagine living in a society where you're constantly judged and discriminated against because of your religion.
Yeah.
That's what Shylock had to deal with.
I can see how that would be tough.
Yeah. It's no wonder he feels angry and wants justice.
Right.
Remember that famous line of his?
Which one?
Hath not a Jew eyes? Hath not a Jew hands, organs, dimensions, senses, affections, passions?
Wow.
He's reminding everyone that he's human, too.
Right.
With the same feelings and desires as anyone else.
He's basically saying, don't treat me like I'm different just because of my religion.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
It's a powerful reminder that prejudice and discrimination can really dehumanize people.
Yeah.
And make it easy to forget that we're all connected in some way.
It's true.
But before we get too serious, let's not forget that Shakespeare also injected some humor into this play.
Oh, yeah. The play has some hilarious moments.
Yes.
Like those scenes with Portia and her maid Nerissa disguising themselves as men to outsmart everyone.
Totally.
And then there's Lancelot Gobbo, Shylock's servant, who's always causing trouble.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
With his silly antics.
Those comedic moments are like little breaths of fresh air amidst all the drama and tension.
Yeah.
They remind us that even in the midst of really serious situations, there's always room for laughter and absurdity.
Yeah, totally. And it kind of makes it feel more real, too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like life is not always super serious.
All right.
There are funny moments, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like Shakespeare is showing us that even in a world full of complex problems, a little bit of laughter can go a long way.
Totally. But let's get back to the courtroom drama.
Okay.
So Shylock demands his pound of flesh. Portia delivers her epic speech about mercy. But what happens next? Does Antonio actually have to give up a part of his body?
Portia, being the clever lawyer she is, finds a loophole in the law.
Okay.
She argues that Shylock can take his pound of flesh.
Okay.
But he's not allowed to spill a single drop of blood.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a tricky situation.
Yeah, that's a plot twist.
Right.
So what happens to Shylock?
Oh.
Does he get his revenge?
Not quite, because since he can't take the pound of flesh without spilling blood, he's basically out of luck.
Oh.
The court rules against him.
Okay.
And he ends up losing a lot more than just the original loan.
Wow.
It's a pretty harsh outcome.
Yeah.
And it leaves the audience wondering if justice was truly served.
So even though Shylock was wronged and mistreated, he doesn't get a happy ending.
It's definitely not a simple happy ending.
Yeah.
Shakespeare leaves us with a lot to think about.
Right.
Was the punishment too harsh? Did Shylock deserve some compassion even though he was demanding something pretty extreme?
Right.
Play doesn't give us easy answers. And that's what makes it so thought-provoking.
It's like Shakespeare saying that life is complicated. And there isn't always a clear right or wrong answer.
Exactly.
Sometimes we have to grapple with difficult choices and try to understand different perspectives.
And remember, we're seeing this play through a modern lens. In Shakespeare's time, people might have viewed Shylock's punishment differently.
It's true.
It's a good reminder that we always need to consider the historical context when we're analyzing literature or trying to understand events from the past.
That makes sense. But let's not forget about the love story.
Oh, yeah.
What happens with Bassanio and Portia after all this drama?
Yeah.
Do they actually get married?
Oh, yeah. The love story continues. Once the courtroom drama is over, everyone heads back to Belmont for some much-needed celebration. Bassanio and Portia get married, along with their friends Graffiano and Nerissa. It seems like a happy ending, but there's a bit of a twist.
Wait, another twist. What happens?
Remember those rings Portia and Nerissa gave to their husbands?
Yes, as symbols of their love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, as a prank, they asked for the rings back, pretending to be upset that their husbands gave them away.
No.
Yeah.
Are Bassanio and Gratiano going to fail this test of love?
Well, they do hesitate at first, but eventually they realize they have to be honest with their wives and explain what happened.
Okay, good.
It's a funny moment that reminds us that even in the most committed relationships, there needs to be trust and open communication.
That's a good lesson.
Right.
So in the end, it seems like most of the characters get a happy ending.
Yeah.
But what about Antonio? We haven't heard much about him lately.
That's a good point. Antonio is a bit of a mystery throughout the play.
Yeah.
We know he's a good friend and a successful merchant, but he also seems kind of sad and lonely.
Yeah.
Some people even think that he might be in love with Bassanio.
Which
Really?
adds another layer of complexity to their friendship.
Wow, that's an interesting idea.
It makes you wonder what's really going on beneath the surface.
Right.
Shakespeare is so good at creating characters that are both relatable and mysterious.
Yeah. And that's what keeps us coming back to his plays.
Exactly.
Right? There's always something new to discover, another layer to peel back, another interpretation to consider.
It's like he's inviting us to join in the conversation.
I like
to
that.
debate the ideas and to make our own connection.
Yeah, I love that it's not just about passively reading the words on the page. It's about actively engaging with the story and thinking about what it means to us.
Exactly. And remember, The Merchant of Venice was written hundreds of years ago.
Right.
But its themes are still relevant today. We're still grappling with issues of prejudice, justice, and the choices we make in our relationships.
It's like Shakespeare's reminding us that even though times change, people are still people.
And we all share the same basic desire for love, acceptance, and fairness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is amazing how Shakespeare can make us think about these big ideas in such an entertaining way.
He was definitely a master storyteller.
Yeah.
And that's why his plays have been performed for centuries and are still so popular today.
Yeah.
People connect with the characters, the drama, and the timeless themes.
Speaking of connecting with the play, I bet some of you are wondering what it would be like to actually see The Merchant of Venice on stage.
Yeah.
Is it anything like watching a movie?
Well, it's similar in that you get to see the story come to life.
Right.
But there's something really special about live theater. You can feel the energy of the actors, hear the language spoken aloud, and really experience the emotions of the play. Plus, every performance is unique. You never know what to expect.
That sounds so cool. It's like stepping back in time and being a part of the story. I bet the costumes and the set design are amazing too.
They definitely add to the magic of the experience. Imagine seeing Venice recreated on stage with its canals and bridges and bustling marketplaces. And the costumes can be so elaborate and beautiful, really helping to bring those characters to life.
So if you ever get the chance to see The Merchant of Venice performed live, you should definitely go for it.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different way to experience Shakespeare.
It's a feast for the senses and a reminder of the power of live storytelling.
For sure.
But even if you can't see it on stage, there are other ways to explore the play. There are tons of great resources online like study guides, articles, and even videos that can help you delve deeper into the story and its scene.
And don't forget to check out the show notes for this episode. We've got links to some awesome resources.
As we wrap up our deep dive into The Merchant of Venice, what's the one big takeaway you hope our listeners will remember?
I think it's the idea that Shakespeare's plays are more than just old stories. They're full of insights into human nature. The challenges we face, and the choices we make.
And even though they were written centuries ago, they still have the power to make us think, feel, and connect with each other.
It's true.
The Merchant of Venice encourages us to challenge our assumptions, to consider different perspectives, and to strive for a more just and compassionate world.
I like that. And who knows? Maybe it'll even spark some interesting discussions in your English class.
Until next time, keep exploring the world of Shakespeare. There's a whole universe of stories waiting to be discovered.
And remember to hear or not to hear.
That is the question.
But we're glad you tuned in to ShakesPod. See you next for another exciting deep dive into the world of Shakespeare.